Well, greetings everyone out there in YouTube land, and welcome to another video. The next couple videos that you're probably going to see here on my channel are actually from my one of my trips up here in north central Pennsylvania that I come up to a couple times a year. If you saw my videos from over the summer with my fireworks and hang gliders, I have a place up here with friends that I stay at. It's their place, not too far away from where I'm at right now. But I make a couple trips up here during the year. Usually you only seen videos up here when I was here in the summer. But I'm actually up here for other business right now in November. In fact, this is Thanksgiving Day. So I decided to get out and film some more areas up here during the late fall and everything. So today I'm at a place that I wanted to film for a while and just didn't get around to it, so we're going to walk around here a little bit and explore this area. And the area that I'm at is Little Pine Creek, or Little Pine State Park. So this is right outside of Waterville, probably about 40 minutes northwest of Williamsport. And a little bit of history about this area up here, what it was used for back in the 1800s, which I'll walk you over to that information board that's behind me there, and give you a brief history of the area up here and why this lake, which is in front of me here, if I spin around you'll be able to see it, why that lake behind me was built, and the other purposes of the Pine Creek, Little Pine Creek and the Pine Creek, what they were used for back in the day. So come with me and let's get this little adventure started. All right, so where I'm at here right now is actually the top of the dam breast, and they have a map here outlining all the hiking trails that go around the state park here. There is a bunch of trails here, so we're actually like right here, and this just wraps up and around, and the Little Pine Creek goes all the way up to English Center, which is the area where I film the fireworks every year for the 4th of July. So just a little bit of history here with this. This was logging country up here back in the 1800s. So what they would do, they would log. There were some sawmills up here, logging mills. I believe English Center had one. I believe there was also one up in Slate Run, and there's probably some other ones here in the area too that I'm forgetting. But basically what they did was they would timber out the mountains here, take the timber out and the logs, and they would basically put them off to the side until the spring, when the water rose in the creeks from all the snow melting over the winter and everything. The creeks would rise, and they would put the logs in the creek and float them down the creek to the from the Little Pine Creek here down to the Pine Creek in Waterville, and then they would float them down that stream to the west branch of the Susquehanna River, which would then flow down to Williamsport, and they could take them down to the sawmills there and cut up the lumber and everything. So there was a creek running through here, but there was some severe flooding here back in the day, which caused them to build this man-made lake here, this dam. And here is the history of the dam building. And you can pause the video if you want to read the captions there on the pictures. So basically there was a flood in 1936, the worst until that time, severely damaged downstream towns like Jersey Shore and Williamsport. It led to the construction of a series of dams like the Little Pine here, and there's a bunch of other dams that were constructed throughout this region as well to control the floodwaters. And there you can see Pine Street in Williamsport. That was in March of 1936. And then this picture here was the area here before the dam was built. And I'm trying to figure out exactly where that picture was taken. in reference to the lake today, but I have yet to figure that out. So the lake was put in for flood control, and that pretty much was the end of the of the logging and everything else up here. The only time this lake has ever went over its spillways was during Hurricane Agnes in 1932. Was the only time, and it even says it here, Hurricane Agnes flood of 1972 was the only time water ever exceeded the dam's capacity and went over the spillway, which you'll see here in a little bit once we walk out through here. So that's the brief history of this dam. Now, the other reason I came up here to check this out, there is rumor that they are going to be dredging the lake here and getting some of the debris out, because you can see there is a thing that goes across there that catches all the debris that comes into the lake, and to keep it from going over there to the glory hole where the water goes out. Now, that's a rumor, and there's also talks that the valves that control the water flowing out of the lake here haven't worked in many years. So I don't know what they're going to do here, but they want to try and dredge it, clean up some of the debris and whatnot, because you can see out there are stumps sticking up in the water. I'm not quite sure the actual depth of this lake, how deep it is and everything. I've done some kayaking on here and fishing, but that's up around the bend there, which I'll show you later on in this video. So should be interesting to see what they're going to do here in the future to try and drain this and get some of the sediment out that's in there. All right, so walking across the top of the dam here, and the trails pretty much go all over the place. They can go down in here through the park because there is areas down there to go camping, and looks like there are some people down there. Looks like they're, I don't know if they're regular fishing or magnet fishing or whatever, but you can see where the water outlet, or the outlet, is for the water when it empties out of the lake. So this is the Little Pine Creek flowing down through there. And then over here is that spillway I was telling you about, which water only flowed over at one time, and that was in 1972. And some people wonder why I come up here all the time. Well, there's a reason. These views that you see here, these views never get old to me. I just love these mountains up here. It is just beautiful area up here, even though this is a cloudy day, and it's probably about 44 or 45 degrees outside, no leaves on the trees, and I missed the fall colors up here, but even so, the views still, they never get old for me. And I'll zoom in for you, and you can see the water flowing there, going down through the glory hole, which when I walked around here probably about 2 years ago or so, you could still get down to that area, and I'm hoping I can get down there yet. That they don't want you walking out onto the structure itself, but we're going to walk around here. There's a path that goes around down to the bottom there, and I'm hoping I can get down there to the bottom yet to show you that. They also have a rain gauge here. The USGS has a one of those rain stream monitors here or whatever, so they monitor the depth of the creek, how much water's flowing and everything. They have a couple of them along the creek here. There's one here. I think there's one down in Waterville. There's one going down towards Jersey Shore along Route 44. I think there's one up in Slate Run as well. So if you're familiar with that, with the river gauges or whatever, you can go to the National Weather Service website. They have all that stuff on there that you can see the the river gauges and how high and low they are and everything. Now, one thing I want to point out too, they did have flooding up here this year, probably August or September. There was some bad flooding here. We might be able to see remnants of it when we go up to the boat launch area, which is up around the beach area there later in this video. But I know I'm pretty sure it was 3 years ago, that there was really bad flooding here, and the lake was, I want to say it was around 48 feet above normal. So just to give you a perspective, that road that's over my shoulder there is Little Pine Creek Road. So the water from this lake was actually up over that road. That is how bad the flooding was up here. And for the residents that are up here, that live up between here and English Center at the end of Little Pine Creek Road, yeah, they're, I guess, more or less used to this, you know, with the Pine Creek flooding and everything. But yeah, residences got flooded out up there, and I guess some people had to get rescued up around Carson town, which is about a mile or so, 2 miles up the road there. But the flooding they had this year wasn't as bad as it was like 3 years ago, but it was still, this lake was pretty full at the time. All right, so here is this giant spillway up close, and we might be able to walk down through here. I don't see any signs that say keep out or anything, but we'll walk down here and see if we can walk around in this spillway a little bit. As much as I would like to put my drone up here and get some aerial shots for you, unfortunately I can't, because this is a state park and there is no flying of any drones in state parks except for the, I think there's 3 of them again, so that you're only allowed to fly them in. So can't get any aerial shots here today for you. All right, so walking over here to this wall, I'm pretty much, you know, 5'10", so you can see it's just about the top of it, probably about up to here on me. So you can see how tall this this wall actually is. I don't know if I can get on the other side of this thing. Looks a little tricky trying to climb over this hump here. So I don't know if I'll be able to get on the other side over there and give you another angle of it. So over here on this far wall over here, they do have a gauge here. And back in the day when the water flowed over here. So the numbers you see there, the 780, 785, and 790, that's not the actual depth of the lake. That's the height the water is above sea level. So it would be 780 feet above sea level, 785 feet above sea level, and 790. That's how most of your dams at their spillways or their control towers usually have some form of gauge like this, and the high numbers is relative to how many feet above sea level it is. So that's how high it would be. All right, so here is these floating mechanisms that stretch out across the lake there to catch the debris that floats down. And this one's actually open right there. You can see what they're filled with. This is, you know, metal on the outside, but on the inside they have them filled with foam, styrofoam. And then you can see how they have them anchored on this side. And I'm sure it's pretty much anchored the same way on the other side over there. But again, they have these here to keep the logs and debris from going down and clogging up the outlet over there. So yes, they do allow ice fishing on this lake in the wintertime when it's thick enough. And there you can see some of the rescue equipment that they have here on standby in case somebody breaks through the ice. And if you look right up there and over, and there's another one, you can see those logs laying up there. Those logs didn't get put up there by man. They were most likely put there from one of the floods here in the past couple years. Alright, so we're at the base here where the outlet is, or the glory hole. And if you look in there, you can see the water going down, and I'm sure you can hear the rumble. From the looks of it, just by standing here, it doesn't look like it is that terribly deep right here. Maybe about 4 or 5 feet. I thought it would be deeper than that, but it doesn't appear to be that way. Alright, so we are now down below the dam breast. You can see up there is where I was and everything. We're going to walk over here to the outlet, check out the water flow coming out of there. You can see one of the creeks coming off from the mountain over there, and I forget the name of that creek. If I find out, it'll be at the bottom of the screen. There's one thing that right about there that's interesting. Looks like there was a bridge there at one time, and that could have been from one of the roads, either Little Pine Creek Road right here, or one of the other roads that came out through the mountains over there, because I know there is a dirt road that goes up over the mountain there. So at one point in time there was a bridge here that went across the creek there, most likely well before this dam was constructed. So there you can see the water coming out of the dam. Not quite as much as Blue Marsh Lake. If you saw my videos when I was up there and filmed that spillway up there. Still a lot of water coming out of here though. So here is the bottom of the spillway. I managed to get over here, and this is the perfect time of the year to do something like this, because you got to climb over these rocks to get down here into this area. And you definitely don't want to be doing this in the spring, summer, or early fall, because of the slithery critters that linger in those rocks there. And yeah, I'm talking about rattlesnakes. This is rattlesnake country up here, and there are lots of them, so I'm sure they would be on those rocks there. Alright, so we're going to leave this area down here at the below the dam breast here, and we're going to venture back up to the upper part of the lake up there, check out the beach area, the boat launch area, and I'll also show you the eagle watch area up there as well, and see if I can get you a picture of the eagle's nest that's on the other side of the lake. Alright, so the next stop here at the Little Pine State Park is actually the boat launch area right there, which they don't have the docks in anymore because it's winter time out, or they actually might have got damaged when they had the last flood up here. But the area that I'm at here is actually supposed to be reserved for handicapped people to come here and fish. Anybody can fish off right here, but the parking is supposed to be for handicapped people. But there is nobody here at the park with the exception of the guy that's behind me with his 2 kids or whatever. So I got the park all to myself, so I'm not too worried about it today. But obviously I wouldn't do it, you know, if the park was full or whatever. So But this is pretty much the upper part of the lake, which is pretty shallow up there. Trying to kayak through there. The water is only a couple inches deep, but it's very muddy, and yeah, you can get bottomed out there and whatnot. But got some Canadian geese down there, and way down there in the distance you can see the dam breast where I was at. Okay, so we are now currently at the Eagle Watch area, and right over there is where you would go down to the boat launch area and everything. And they do have, like I said, there's plenty of hiking trails around here if you want to come up here and hike. Right over here is, I'm not sure if it's the beginning or the end of the Panther Run Trail, but over here during the spring and summer, this area can get pretty busy depending on the bald eagle activity in the park here. Their activity hasn't been too much. There's been a little bit of activity here this past year, but a couple years ago when I was up here fishing, which you'll see once we get up there, up the creek and everything, I was in a kayak fishing and had a bald eagle sitting, actually perched on a branch on a tree right behind me. And if I get a picture, if I can find a picture, I'll insert it in the video here for you to see. But this is the area known as the Eagle Watch area. So, and once we get over there, I'll put the camera down and zoom in on the big nest that's on the other side of the lake. All right, so here's the board that they have at the watch area here, telling you about the different birds that you will find in this area: the bald eagle, the turkey vulture, and the osprey. So you can see remnants of the flooding that was here in the past couple months, because when I was here in July kayaking the creek right here, this is the Little Pine Creek, yeah, that wasn't there before like that. So they had serious flooding and stuff washing out, or I should say washing in the lake there. But the only way you can walk down, there is a little area here where you can fish right there, but to get to this area where all the good fishing holes are, up along here and all the way up through the creek there, yeah, the only way you're getting to it is by kayak. But there is definitely some nice size trout in here. All right, so we got the camera on the picnic table here because it's a lot steadier than me trying to hold it, but we're gonna slowly zoom in. And there you can see, that's as close as I'm going to get, but there you can see the bald eagle's nest that's over there. And doesn't look like there's any activity going on over there today, although I do have some pictures from a couple years ago that there were eagles sitting in that nest, and I'll insert them in the video here for you to see. All right, so I got a couple more places yet to show you here at the state park. We're going to venture up the road here and go by the archery and target or shooting range that's up there, and we're going to check out a little trail up there, which isn't too long, and it shouldn't really make this video overly long. But we're going to walk on a little trail up there called the Carson Town Trail, I believe it's called. And if anybody follows Cliff, the Wandering Woodsman, he was up here a few years ago. I think it was this past summer, a year ago. He was up here and filmed that part of the park up there. Unfortunately, at the time when he was up there, they were going through a severe drought up here, so the wasn't much water flowing down the Little Pine Creek. But we're going to go up there and check that trail out yet. Driving up the road here, I noticed that this little monument or foundation met its fate here recently with the flooding. It actually is on its side right now, but it actually stood up, and what it was, there was a footbridge, I guess, that went across here at some point to get over here on the other side of the creek into the back part of the lake and everything. I'm not quite sure when the bridge was taken out, but that was the only remains of it left, was that little center foundation there, and unfortunately it's now laying on its side in the creek. And since there is literally no traffic on this road today, I can actually do this and film here while I'm driving. But yeah, it looks like we got some action over there. People sighting their guns in, getting ready for the rifle season for buck coming up here on Saturday. But that's the gun range that's there, and right up here, not too much further, is the archery range, and we should come up on the entrance to the Carson Town Trail. Got a guy there sighting his, playing with his bow. And right here is where we want to be, the Carson Town Trail. All right, so we're going to walk back the Carson Town Trail here, and delayed harvest, that has to deal with trout season and everything. So they do stock this area up here. The Fish Commission stocks the creek here every year, a couple times a year actually, with trout. But we're going to walk back here and check out some views of the creek from here. I'm not quite sure how this trail goes at all. I think it just goes back here and just does a short loop around the little village that's up in the back here, if you want to actually call it a village. It's mainly, I guess there's some permanent residents up there, but I think it's mainly hunting cabins and whatnot. So that's the area that's known as Carson Town. So this is the Little Pine Creek, and this is actually like a, I guess you want to say like a Y, where it splits off here in two places, but the main part of the creek is down there. But this area here is one of the little branches where it branches off. And I thought I might have seen, it could have been a turkey vulture over in the woods there. I don't think it was a bald eagle, but it was a pretty large size bird. Flew up into the trees over there. Hopefully he'll come back out or take off again, and I can actually get to see what it is. But knowing my luck, probably won't happen. All right, so no such luck with the bird. The only other bird that I hear in the distance is there's a grouse doing its thumping on the ground that they do with their wings and everything. But we're going to venture across the street here. I just noticed when I got out of the vehicle, there's some fence over there. I don't know, maybe a old cemetery over there or something. So we're going to walk over there and check it out. All right, so my assumption was correct. There is a cemetery here. So we're going to walk in there and check things out. But from the looks of it, this is probably the descendants of Carson Town that are buried here. Just one tombstone right there. Looks like the one of the Carsons, born in 1825. James Carson died in 1911. And Louise A., his wife, was born in 1828 and died in 1917. Looks like there's some newer tombstones. Looks like there's one in the back there, Rogers. And it looks like there's fairly some new tombstones, and people do come, so this is a they do take care of this yet. It's not one that's in disrepair or anything, but we'll walk in there and check some of the tombstones out. There's a Robert J. Carson, born, I believe that is in 1867 from the looks of it. Died August 1934. And that one there, yeah, that looks like those were kids. RJ and Emma Carson, they were born December 19th, 1911 and died January 16th, 1912. There's another tombstone that seen some better days there. (1837) they were born and died in 1890. So this is pretty much all Carson's in here, which is where the little town of Carson Town obviously got its name. But they did go through and put some newer tombstones in here over the years, obviously. And there's Rogers. Oh wow. There's a recent one. Brian Miller, born in 1976 and died this year. Wow. And of course there's a row here of grave markers that there's no writing on them at all. They're just markers. Alright, so hopefully you enjoyed that video of the Little Pine State Park. Thanks for coming along, and if you did like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, consider hitting that subscribe button down there at the bottom, and also ring the bell down there if you want to be notified when I upload new content to YouTube and everything. So thank you to all the subscribers out there and the ones that recently subscribed to the channel, and everybody that follows me on the TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook and everything. Thanks so much for your support. And hopefully you enjoyed the video here and it wasn't boring for you or anything, and enjoyed the little history of the state park up here in the area up here in the PA Wilds, or north central Pennsylvania. So until next time, it's have a ball and do it all. We'll see you soon.